Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us, he's a director, and he has two shorts out. One is called The Eucharist, and one is called The Day It Came. I have with us today filmmaker Walter Bender. Walter, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hey, how's it going, Travis?
Good, man. Good, man. I had a chance to watch both of your short films. They were a fun time, but let's talk about Eucharist, which is pretty fucking weird, but good. So tell our audience a little bit about Eucharist.
Oh, Eucharist is a short film of a man washed up on shore just trying to survive. And let's just say something in the title is related to that.
Now, what threw me off about that movie, without giving away any spoilers, how can I say this? If I was him,
you can spoil it if you want.
Okay. So, like a young, attractive woman watches on shore too, or she's on shore, and I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have did what he did.
I'm hoping not a lot of people would.
So what gave you the idea to come up with that concept?
Well, it was actually it was interesting. I've kind of wanted to do it was actually pitched as a more wholesome idea of basically it was actually originally a father-son dynamic, where the son is helping out the father, and someone's like, yeah, it's just a little too bland. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it to the extreme. Let's do that. And what I really wanted to convey with the film is just kind of with him being washed up on shore, he has these cravings, these hungers. I kind of like the Thomas Aquinas idea of appetites, which that's just kind of some Catholic philosophy, and I just kind of made it with those appetites. I made them quite literal in this situation. So he will do what he has to survive, and kind of it's that kind of play on temptation, whether he should or shouldn't, should or shouldn't do these kind of vile acts. And I'm like, we don't face those every day, but those as extreme situations, but we do have our kind of our appetites for bad, good, and also looking for God and that kind of thing.
I can definitely agree with you on that.
Intellectual appetites too.
Because because when he's fulfilling his appetite, I mean, just the visuals and the sounds were so fucking disturbing. Like, were you like at any point like, oh my goodness, this might be a little too far?
No, there's some video of me out there just smiling on that whole scene. I absolutely loved it. It is my favorite scene of the movie, and there's a little bit of, I think you could say there's a little bit of a humor to it, which is how the music cues in and stuff like that. I told our actor Millis, who is this was actually shot in Lithuania. Millis is a really good director in his own right. Just put out a movie called Generation of Evil, one of the top. I think it did incredibly well at the box office in the country there.
Nice.
Anyway, Millis, I kind of gave him the direction. Just go from just kind of this I'm hungry, this kind of thing, just to just this spiritual orgasm kind of thing. Yeah. I think he actually didn't speak English that well at all.
Really?
But I gave him the cue. My producer knows Lithuanian. I'm like, he understood exactly what to do.
Because I thought, this is what I thought. I was like, oh, he's gonna Okay, I'm gonna go say. I'm like, wow, he has this young, attractive woman that's there. I thought that he's gonna be like, oh, well, let me do something else. I had no idea that he was going to fulfill his appetite in another way.
Yeah, yeah, that's. I was gonna say when with the title, the Eucharist, something's gonna get eaten.
Exactly. Now, were you planning? Were you always planning on making this a short, or did you have aspirations to make this into a full length feature?
This was specifically I had a short in mind for it. This was actually shot at a film camp there called Summer Media Studios, which a lot of European students go to. As an American, I was very lucky for the opportunity to attend. It's very much we have a little bit of a gateway to Indiana. I'm from Indiana to participate in this, and I took that opportunity.
Nice. So, what got you into filmmaking?
I came in with.
Sorry.
Then I kind of got into the pitch because they actually select. Anyone can pitch a film there, but they only select maybe 5 or 4. So it was really cool to get to do that, and I think my pitch went over pretty well.
So, I mean, has anybody asked you, or have you got any reception to oh my goodness, I would like to see more about this story in a full feature?
A lot of people. I think I very much would like to develop it in that. I've been actually writing a lot of treatments for it. Not quite satisfied with all of them. I'm through 6, but I'll get there.
Now, you also have another short out that's called The Day It Came. And it's kind of, it goes back to that 1950s kind of cheesy horror comedy. So tell everybody a little bit about it.
Oh, The Day It Came was there is a contest called Terror in the Isles where we had to do a 1950s style film, and me and some trailer, and me and my buddies participated in that and had a good time writing it. My friend Curtis actually came up with the idea, and I storyboarded and directed it, and my friends acted. It was a good time, and I actually love 1950s cinema. Ray Harryhausen's one of my inspirations. I actually do a lot of animation and stuff like that. So nice. It was just kind of fun to do a throwback to that. And there's a couple of things where you can tell it's in modern times, but I tried to erase as many as I could. Now, T-shirts didn't really become a craze till the 60s, but
now, is it hard to? I mean, if somebody gives you, hey, you gotta, here's an idea, here's a pitch, you got to make this in X amount of time. There's no way in hell I could do that. I mean, is that challenging, or does your brain just work in a different way?
Oh, it is. I am very much a person who likes deadlines. If I don't have a deadline, it's tough for me to get it done, because as I think a lot of filmmakers think this. It's just this isn't perfect, that's not perfect. When you have a deadline, I gotta get it done. Here it is. And I may after I hit that deadline, I may tweak it a little bit, but I try not to go much farther with it after it's completed. With the Eucharist, I paid an American to help me more with the sound design when I got back to Indiana, and he did a fantastic job. If you hear it on a 5.1 surround, it's so great.
It sounds amazing. So what got you into filmmaking?
Oh, I've always been into film. I actually if I had to go far back, they did a re-release of this of Return of the Jedi in the 90s. That was when George Lucas was putting the special editions. I kind of saw that, and there's that powerful scene at the end, and spoilers if you haven't seen Return of the Jedi, but the scene where Luke or Vader sacrifices himself to save Luke, and Luke takes off Vader's mask and sees his eyes for the first time. That really showed me how powerful film was as a visual storytelling medium. And I'm like, that is what I want to do. When I was in second grade, I actually got the Spielberg stop motion movie set Legos, and
nice.
I would do like little stop motion. That's where I learned how to do stop motion and stuff like that.
Now, were you always a horror fan?
I was gonna say I got into it around when I was in middle school. I've always been drawn to kind of the darker imagery, like especially from Disney animated films, like old shorts on TV. Like I love like the Grinch's Halloween and all of those Halloween specials, like Peanuts and stuff. Just kind of those darker elements. And when I was growing up, then once I was say middle school, I was allowed to like rent R-rated stuff. Or was I? I think I went over to friends' houses and watched it. And as a result, I actually saw a lot of the classic sequels before I saw the originals. It was just kind of mixed bags like that. It was kind of what was free on TV. So like my first exposure to like Nightmare on Elm Street was Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Halloween 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I saw the originals like far after that.
So which one? So what was the first horror movie that you saw that scared the shit out of you as a kid?
Oh, I wouldn't say a horror movie, but man, I like some of those old Don Bluth animated films. Like, and I ran out of freaking Anastasia in the theater. I was like, and yeah, so it's the scene where the villain, he sells his soul to the devil, his skin gets ripped off. And my dad's like, I paid this movie, go back in the theater and watch it. So I come back on a scene where Anastasia's like under a trance, and she's ready to jump into the water with some people, and then they turn into demons. I'm like, what on earth did you take me to? And then I was gonna say some of that other Disney stuff, like Snow White, with like some of that early Disney stuff had some body horror, like with the Queen's transformation with the skeleton and stuff. I'm like, really, those animated stuff really got me into horror, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid. I was like, I could watch I saw like Lost World when I was in kindergarten, no problem. I love seeing the dinosaurs rip people apart, but when you get into like some of that animated stuff, I'm like, no, that's too much for me.
I remember as a kid, like there was a movie that scared the shit out of me. It wasn't a horror movie. Well, some people might say it was a horror movie, but it was a early Marvel comic book movie. It was called Howard the Duck. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, that's nightmare fuel, dude. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and that one's just, I don't know. Did you know George Lucas produced that too?
Yes, and that movie scared the shit out of me. I mean, it literally.
I can see that. Out of all the Disney properties, though, why do you do Howard the Duck? I mean, out of all the Marvel properties, I don't know. But yeah, I understand why.
Because Howard the Duck was fucking creepy looking. I mean, he was fucking creepy. There were some creepy monsters in that movie and shit. It was and like, I think that movie was like PG-13. And I mean, if you look back at it now, like PG-13 was different in the 80s and early 90s than it is now. Like PG-13 now is kind of tame, but PG-13 back then, I mean, it was some adult shit in that.
Yeah, Red Dawn was one of the first ones. I think it was Pulp. Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was like a Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, that really said we need another rating because PG is just not cutting it.
Exactly.
This kind of stuff. Like, this is borderline an R-rated movie.
But I know, I'm like, whoa, fucking Howard the Duck was not a kid's movie. It was not a kid's movie at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
A movie scared the shit out of me. All right, so I am going to. So as you know, this is a horror channel, so I'm gonna give you three horror questions. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right. First one is, what iconic horror character do you feel like you relate to the most?
Oh, that is a good question. I would say probably Ash from Evil Dead.
Okay.
Sometimes
Why is that?
I was like, without the charm. Sometimes I feel like an idiot who just gets like caught up in a bad situation and just gets lucky to get stuff done. I was like, I think that's why Ash is so appealing. Like, just a lot of people can relate to that. Maybe not doing all the one-liners and stuff, but he's a very, very, I was gonna say, just a very fun character.
He's just a normal guy. He works in a grocery store and everything. He's just a basic fucking dude.
Exactly.
All right. Second question: What horror franchise do you wish they wouldn't make they would stop making movies, sequels? You're done. You're like, okay, either for the good or bad reason. You're like, please do not make another one of these movies.
I am going to say that is a good question. I think I am leaning toward Exorcist.
That's a good one.
The new one just came out. I didn't see it.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
It's bad.
I'm like, I think the first one and the third one, as
Yes.
well as there's a quasi sequel called Ninth Configuration. I'm like, it's called the Faith Trilogy: Exorcist 1, Ninth Configuration, Exorcist 3. That is an excellent trilogy. There is a lot of the same themes that go around about evil and goodness in the world, and I just don't think any other writer or director has been able to really tackle that as well as the original writer did to those films. And
Yeah,
it's a very much I was like, it's a horror movie, but it's those three films are very much Christian films too, and I feel like a lot of the other filmmakers just don't want to really dive into the religious aspect of that and just wanted to go to the just kind of spooky evil stuff, which is fun. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like those movies are built on goodness overcoming evil, or there being good in the world that is stronger than the evil. And if you don't have that, it's just it's just kind of a typical possession movie.
And that's what not giving anything away spoilers, but that's the new one. They wanted to get away from the religious aspect of The Exorcist, almost like religion is bad, and make it something completely fucking bullshit that is fighting evil. And I'm like, come on now. The Exorcist is all about the Catholic Church versus the devil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what those movies are. That's the premise of the movie. Like, so we start taking that key aspects away, it's not an Exorcist movie. It's just another possession movie that it's been done about 1 billion times, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, if your audience wants to kind of have a similar feeling, there's a video game out that I just beat that I do recommend that kind of captures that same kind of tone to it. It's called the Unholy Trinity. It's done in Atari style. It's very much a great piece of art if you get a chance to play it. It's made by, I think, a missionary from Argentina.
And what platform is that on?
Oh, it's on Steam. I think it's coming to other systems soon. It's quite an experience. I recommend it. It goes on sale for like $15 all the time, $11. My brother and I beat that, and it definitely has that Exorcist feel. The only thing you're armed with in that game is a cross.
Nice. All right, so since you just told me that you're a gamer, for the third question, I'm going to ask you a horror gaming question. All right,
let's go.
What horror video game franchise had the best adaptation movie, and which one do you think had the worst?
Oh, that one I have to think about. I haven't seen all of the horror game adaptations. I hear anything. What's that? German director touches is not good. I actually haven't seen any of his films.
What's the name?
Ewan Ball or
Yeah,
something.
Ball. Yes. He does a lot of them.
Yeah, but from what I have seen, the worst was probably I was gonna say maybe one of those Resident Evil movies, like one of the action ones. I also saw Raccoon City. While I think the tone was better in that film, they were just trying to cram way too much into that movie. And I actually like the actor who played Leon in that one, but he wasn't really doing the writing didn't really do Leon justice. As for best adaptation, though, that is a good question. Well, I'm like this. I would still kind of sci-fi horrorish. Someone did an excellent Metroid fan film. It was a short, and
Really?
it definitely has that creepy alien vibe to it, mixed with 2001: A Space Odyssey. You can find it online. Just say live action Metroid short. You'll find it. It's really awesome.
That's amazing. For me, so if you ask me, Travis, what is your favorite video game series? And I don't game that much anymore. But when a Resident Evil game comes out, I literally pre-order it and buy it. Like, that is like the one video game series that I get at the opening day. I play with it. I become a hermit for 2 or 3 weeks, and I like beat it and unlock all the achievements. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I remember even getting the first one on the PlayStation 1 back when I was in junior high. So I've always been a huge Resident Evil fan. And I remember I was in high school when that first Resident Evil movie came out. And I went on a fucking Saturday morning, like a matinee when all the old people go, because I was so excited to go see this Resident Evil movie. And because I don't know if you know or not, but George A. Romero was supposed to direct the Resident Evil movie, but something happened, and the fucking guy who makes all those dumb action movies winds up getting the movie. I can't think of his name. What's his name? Paul something.
W.S. Anderson. He did Event Horizon. I like that.
I do like Event Horizon. That's a actually underrated horror movie. And I was like, I see where it's going, but this is not fucking scary. This is not. It doesn't have the atmosphere of it's an action movie. Like, this hasn't had the atmosphere of a survival horror movie, a video game, or a movie. And like, it was just a disappointment. And to be honest, I never ever saw a Resident Evil movie from that whole series since the first one. And but there was one that came out recently. It wasn't the Raccoon City one. It was one that came out like recent, like last year or two. I can't think of the name. It's Resident Evil something. And it was fucking good. It was actually good. It actually follows the first game pretty much. Like, it is what the first Resident Evil movie should have been. You know what I mean? It's 100%.
Was it animated?
No, it was a full length live. Yeah. I can't think of the name of it. Is Resident Evil Come Back Home or some shit like that? But check that one out. It's really fucking good. It's not great, but it's fucking good. And I mean, it's the closest thing to any Resident Evil video game. But the best one I've seen by far, and I'm a huge Silent Hill fan. Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill movie was great.
Yes, I quite like that one as well. I've actually only played one Silent Hill game though, and it's not
really
it's particularly like. I played. Well, I gotta think. It was actually on the Wii of all things. Shattered. What was it?
Shattered Dreams.
Yeah, Shattered Dreams. That's the one I played. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not one of the best ones, but the Silent Hill trilogy is pretty. I mean, the Silent Hill and Resident Evil games. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. They've been pretty consistent. I mean, yes, there's some that are way better. Which one?
Oh, have you played the remake of 4 yet? I haven't got into it.
So I don't want to play any of the remakes. Is that weird?
Oh, really? No, I get it. I want to kind of preserve the memory of the originals.
Yeah,
I think these do a good job of kind of capturing the tone. And if you like the gameplay of 4, it kind of modernizes it. And they're two different games. Like Resident Evil 2, which I have on GameCube. That is actually out of print right now, and I picked it up for $3. I'm very fortunate on that.
Nice.
The gameplay is different, so you're not going to get the same experience. So I'm like, I think both have their places, and I'm glad they didn't just do a straight remake. Although the remake between Resident Evil, the original, and they did a remake of the first one, which is still done in the same style. Just they redid the art design. Love that too. I would have been fine either way.
I hear they're remaking Silent Hill 2, which Silent Hill 2 is the greatest horror game ever made.
That's
100%.
I own it. I just haven't played it. I literally bought the PS2 copy is just way too much. But I found a copy on the original Xbox. Like I'm talking about the OG Xbox, and was able to pick. I bought a whole Xbox to play that game, and I haven't gotten to it yet.
I literally, like the PlayStation 2. I literally bought the PlayStation 2 because I played the first Silent Hill made by Konami on the PS1, and then Silent Hill 2 was like one of the flagship titles that was being released. One of the release titles with PS2, and I was like. Oh, and I remember Game Pro. I don't remember when Game Pro was out. It was a magazine.
Yeah, I know Game Pro. I got a couple of them.
And it gave like a 5 out of 5 fucking stars for Silent Hill 2. It was like, it's way better than original, better Resident Evil games. And I was so fucking excited. I went to Walmart and like bought that.
Yeah, dude.
And I even skipped college that day. I had classes that day. And I skipped class, and I went and got fucking Silent Hill 2, and I played it for like a week fucking straight, and it was such a good game. I mean, the Silent Hill series. Hey, have you played Silent Hill? You haven't played Silent Hill. The Room is one you got to check out too. It's called Silent Hill: The Room, and it came out on PlayStation 3.
All right, I'll write that down.
And it's totally different from like the other Silent Hill games because you're trapped in your fucking apartment, right? And this big fucking hole comes in the wall, and you can't get out of your fucking apartment. But this big hole comes to the wall, and you go through this hole, and it takes you to that Silent Hill world. And
oh, wow,
and it's fucking amazing. By the way, I actually went to the actual Silent Hill city where the video game is based, and it's
what is it?
It's called. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's spelled Carlise, Pennsylvania, and it was an old coal mining town, and so the vapors will come out of the ground, like you still see these toxic smoke vapors. And I went to go visit that town, and it's a fucking ghost town, and those vapors, and so the whole town is fucking covered in the driveways, everything, the ground, everything is covered in graffiti, and it's a fucking ghost town, and these fucking toxic vapors are like still coming through the fucking ground. But I went there because it was pretty fucking cool.
Oh man, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Oh, I do have one question for you though. But sure. Silent Hill 2, I actually did watch my friends play. Like, how on earth did you figure out some of those puzzles? Like, they had some of the most random answers. Like, you had to stick something in a mail chute or something. I'm like, how on earth would you figure that out?
Well, here's the crazy thing about it. So this was pre-internet. So the internet was out, but we didn't get the computer and the internet until I was a senior in high school. So that was 2021. So of course I had this way before. No, No, we might have had internet, but I did. But you couldn't just regularly find walkthroughs on the internet like that. But no, I just I'm good at puzzles. I'm good at like before all the partying, alcohols, and killing brain cells. I used to be really fucking smart. I'm telling you, I used to be really fucking smart, and like I could figure out puzzles and things like even like Then the only thing I couldn't figure out, by the way, shout out to my little sister, Resident Evil Part 1 with the Moonlight of Sonata. She played the piano. So she was able to tell me, this is the keys that you got to hit. And I was like, so I would have never figured that out. But by her playing the piano, she helped me out with that one.
I love that. That is fantastic.
Yes, but my little sister used to sit and watch me play survival horror. She would never play them herself because she was terrified to play. But she used to love watching me play the Resident Evil and the Silent Hill games.
All right, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when I was a kid, I was playing like Ocarina of Time, and I was gonna say have you ever played Ocarina of Time Zelda?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh man, those zombies freaked me out from the future, and what was it, like the Deadites or something, and they grab you, and I'm like, jeez, this is too much. I was just gonna go on this adventure.
Yeah, I actually did a video of my top 5 most what was the title? The most influential horror video games, and I had some random ones on there that most people would never even play. Like, if you were in the 90s, you heard of a game that was called Night Trap, and it was for the Sega CD.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and it was so controversial because it came out the same. It got hit with the controversy at the same time the original Mortal Kombat where it came out, and Senator John McCain was and unfortunately a majority Democrat politicians were the ones who started putting the labels on the games. I mean, the grading, the whole rating system. Before that, there was no rating system. So thank you, Democrats, for that. But listen, but the thing they did was they banned Night Trap. Night Trap was completely banned, and it was because and if you ever played Night Trap, it wasn't really a violent game. It was.
I have.
Yeah, it was just.
You can find it right now for about like $1 on a Steam or a Switch. I played it on Nintendo Switch.
Really? I played it on the Sega CD. I went to a video store and I was renting. I was looking for it. There's only one video store in town that rented Sega CD games because most people no one had a fucking Sega CD, and I saw Night Trap on the. I was like, oh. And I took that bad boy home and I played it, and I beat that game so many times. I fucking love Night Trap.
It's fun. I actually haven't beat it, but it's a fun game. It's a very creative idea of what I'm like. I was gonna say it played to the Sega CD strength. Like,
yes.
No other cartridge game. Well, I mean, it's a CD, but no game was kind of doing that, and it knew the limitations of the console and just made something really creative out of it.
Yes, and it puts you as a character in a real live B horror movie, like real life.
Yes.
I mean, real actors and actresses in a real life B horror movie, and it was like nothing else was out like that. And
it plays out in real time. You got to keep your focus.
Yes, you had to jump from room to room because you have a clock. It's literally playing in real time. And if you're not focused and you're not in the right room to set off these booby traps, the vampires monsters were going to get these fucking slumber party teenagers. So I mean, it was a fun game, and unfortunately, it really never got that much attention because, or not people that played it because it got pulled off the shelves.
I was gonna say, even though it's out now, it kind of lives on like Five Nights at Freddy. It's kind of the same idea.
Yeah.
100%. So the kids get a little bit of the Night Trap.
Yes. The Night Trap. I feel like somebody should make a movie out of Night Trap.
That would be awesome. I'd watch it. I did think of another a horror adaptation that was pretty good. Have you heard of the IFN film? No, not IFN. IFC. IFN is actually an Indiana Filmmakers Network. If you're in town, it's IFC film. Have you heard of Werewolves Within?
No.
It was this. There was this VR game. It was kind of those ones where what's that game with the astronauts everyone's playing where you shoot them out the duct, try to guess who the bad guy is. It's a multiplayer game, but anyway, this VR game kind of did something similar called Werewolves Within, and IFC did an adaptation with the girl from the Verizon commercials.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a fun little horror comedy, and
nice.
And I actually haven't played the game because it was VR. I don't do a lot of VR games, but it stands pretty well on its own.
That's awesome.
That's another.
That's awesome.
That's another good one. You wouldn't really think that.
I wish somebody would make a Dead Space movie. I love Dead Space series.
Oh, me too. I actually haven't played 3 because of the was too different for me.
Yeah,
I played the demo, and I didn't really. I love 1, and I played the demo to 3, and I'm like, this just was not clicking for me.
But did they make a new one, like a part 4 or a reboot or something like that came out recently?
It was a remake. It was a remake of the first one. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things. And if by chance someone whose upper management's listening to that, can you give us a Dead Space movie? That would be so awesome.
That would be amazing, because I heard that Steven Spielberg was aligned with that. Like, it would. I'm gonna say it was probably 6 or 7 years ago, and then I never heard anything else about it. And I was like, wow, Steven Spielberg aligned to a Dead Space movie. That's interesting.
He is a gamer. He was aligned for the Halo movie for years and years and years. And at one point, Peter Jackson was going to direct it, then Neil Blomkamp, and now it's this TV show, which was originally going to come out on Xbox, and then some other things happened, so Paramount got it. I don't know if Spielberg has any attachment to that show anymore, but he was on it up until they were going to do that TV series exclusive for Xbox. So that's kind of that's kind of cool. I would love, and Spielberg did Ready Player One, which was
and I love that movie. That was
all the game stuff you wanted.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. That was definitely a fun movie. I saw it in the theaters.
Actually read the book too, and it's two different experiences. But I like both. I like both for different reasons. I think they're both equally good. It's a fun movie.
See, I still haven't upgraded yet. I still haven't got a PS5. Now, I have a question. All right, so since you're a gamer, I see that I still have the Xbox One, right? I have an Xbox One and a PS4, right? And I see a lot of games out, and it says Xbox Series S or X or something. Can I play those games on the Xbox One, or do I have to have a whole new system for that?
Usually on the top box, they'll say Xbox One and Xbox Series X. So if it has both of those on there, you can play it on an Xbox One. I have, unfortunately, due to my busy schedule, I've since become quite a handheld gamer. So I've been loving handheld PCs and stuff like that. So nice. The Switch adapted me to that, so I could basically. I've been one of those gamers who just picks up and plays now. I hate that, but I am. So I'll just play it for a minute, put it down, play it for a minute, put it down. Although I do enjoy a game with excellent atmosphere. If you can give me that, I will play for hours on end. Like the horror stuff, that's so it's so good. You can't do a pick up and play with those because you'll break the immersion.
Yes, and I'm telling you, Resident Evil: The Village is fucking amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
I haven't played it yet, but I love that. I've been wanting to. It's one of those games where I own and haven't played it. I have a lot of those.
Me too.
The Universal. It has gothic horror atmosphere out of a Universal horror film, and I really very much like that.
It's an amazing game.
But
By the way, I have a whole stack of games. I have Red Dead Redemption 2 that I'm halfway through, and I never picked it back up, and I want to finish it because it's such a fucking great game. And I mean, I have the Avengers game that I haven't opened up. I have so many fucking games, and I just don't have time to play them.
Funny you should say Red Dead Redemption 2. I actually met the one of the voice actors was at, or the voice actor of the main guy was at the at a film festival
Nice.
that was screening the Eucharist. And after like the screenings, he bought all the filmmakers drinks and stuff like that. There's a picture online with me and a couple of other young filmmakers partying with him. It was a fun time.
Nice. I just wish I had more time for gaming, but guess what? This YouTube channel has taken up all of my gaming time.
I believe that. I'm working on I was gonna say I'm doing so many other projects right now. Like I'm doing a podcast. I'm editing a documentary. If you go to the Indianapolis airport this weekend, I did above for gates A and B in the center of the airport. I did the motion graphics for that, which are animated with the NBA All-Star stuff.
Nice. I'm gonna be in Indianapolis. I think in the next couple of months. Day of the Dead convention is coming there, and I don't know when it is, but I'll be there in Indianapolis. I've been to Indianapolis one time. I'm a huge sports fan, and I went to see the Pacers play, and I also went to see the.
You like the Pacers?
I don't like the Pacers. I don't like the Pacers, but I go to. My goal is to see every single sports team play. I only have two Major League Baseball stadiums, and I'm like halfway through NBA arenas, and I'm like 75% through NFL stadiums, and I'm like 25% through hockey arenas. But yeah, I went to see the Pacers. I was like, this is back when Southwest used to have those $49 each way trips, and I would just go and be like, we're having that. What team I haven't seen? And I was like, that's Indianapolis. Awesome. I was like, Indianapolis. And I went for one day. I went for one fucking day, and I went to the Indianapolis Speedway. It took was it the Brick 500 or something like that. I took a tour of there, and then I went to a couple other tourist attractions, and then I went to a Pacers game, hopped on the flight next morning, went home. I used to do that a lot, but now fucking the flight prices are ridiculous. Like you can't just fucking hop on a plane for $50 each way anymore. I mean, and I'm talking about this was like 5 or 6 years ago. Ever since COVID, after COVID, the flight prices are ridiculous. I mean, it's like to fly from Baltimore and Indianapolis used to be $50 each way, $100 round trip. You're gonna pay by $300 or $400 just to fucking fly from Baltimore to Indianapolis now, and it's ridiculous.
Like at that point, you might as well just drive. It might be cheaper.
I know. All right, Walter. By the way, I'm gonna have you back on, and we're gonna talk about fucking just horror video games. That's gonna be our next video.
I would love that.
Yeah, so we're gonna just talk about horror video games. That's gonna be our next show. So, but Walter, where can everyone find you, my friend?
You can find me at on Instagram, WalterB.3. I can type that in the chat if you need. And if anyone wants to care if I post the links to the films.
Actually, they're going to be down in the description box. I'm going to have them there. So click on the links and check them out.
Yeah, that's and then there is actually a short, and I haven't really advertised it this much. I just did a program with a visual effects school, and just did I did motion capture for a short film that's out right now. If you go to Dave's school on YouTube, it's called The Unending. It's a fun backrooms film. Nice. I'll have, yes, please check that out.
Walter. By the way, let me say a shout out to the Magic of Horror Film Festival for linking us up. Shiva Rodriguez is absolutely amazing. She is giving the alumni of the film festival a spotlight by coming on my show, and I appreciate her for that.
Mind if I say something about them?
Sure can.
I was not able to attend last year. That's when they played The Day It Came and actually won Best Trailer. But I got to say, I love this film festival. Magic of Horror, not only do they support their alums who been in the films, like they will promote you after the screenings. Almost all of the films that they have screened, whether they've won anything or not, are archived on their sites. And they'll post social media promoting all the films that have been accepted. It's a fantastic festival, and from what I hear, next year is going to be huge. So go check it out.
And I'm going to be there. Well, the Horror Room is actually a sponsor of the Magic of Horror Film Festival, and we will be there live to cover it. And I mean, listen, I do not. Here is my stance when it comes to horror film festival. You would never ever hear me promote any horror film festival. I mean, there's a select few because I know that they're authentic and they're real. Because there's so many horror film festivals that are cash grabs. You know what I mean? And
yep.
And they're scams. They really are. They're fucking scams. And and I'm not getting paid for say this or anything, but the Magic of Horror, I've done my research on them. Shiva reached out to me. I've done my research on them, and they do a lot of fundraising. They do a lot of charity work. They do a lot of good shit besides taking your fucking money. And you know what I mean? And also too, like you were saying, they promote. Even if you don't win, they promote your work. They promote your movies even a year or two afterwards. And there's very few film festivals out there that are doing that. So
no, it's great. And they also, like, that's a thing a lot of even like some of the bigger film festivals like Days of the Dead are missing, are like kind of the online presence, which Magic of Horror was. Like I said, I couldn't make it to the unending. I was staying up all night working on a CGI model for a class. But I watched all of the stuff they had online that day for the festival. It was like I was actually there. And it was fantastic. I really tried to make it out that day, and I'm like, after staying up like 2 hours straight, I couldn't make the drive, or 2 days straight, I couldn't make the drive.
Yeah,
but I did this year, and it was a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there this year. I'm telling you, I do not promote film festivals. I don't promote 90% of indie horror film festivals because I don't know anything about them or they don't seem legit to me. And this is one that I promote. By the way, there's a link in the beginning of this video, at the end of this video. So definitely support them if you're an indie filmmaker, or you just want to donate money to their fundraiser. They have like children costume test contests and stuff. Like, it's fun. You know what I mean? They seem to be fun.
Oh yeah.
It's not just about the money. Yeah.
No, they really care about the filmmakers that go there.
100%. It's not a cash grab. It's not a cash grab, and I get that sense with a lot of the indie horror film festivals. I really do. I get that. It's literally, I want to take your money, and then if you lose or win, whatever, you're not going to. You know what I mean? We're not going to promote you anymore unless you give us some more money, and it's not cool. It's not cool.
It's not cool, but there are a lot of. I just want to say there are a lot of good ones out there too. So
there are a lot. No. There are some good ones out there, but there are some good ones out there, and the good ones I do talk about. I do talk about the good ones, but there's a lot. There's some out there that are cash grabs, or there's some ones I don't know enough about. You know what I mean? They're not transparent enough about what they're doing.
No, and so there's a lot of the ones that are just I have to say those online ones. Sometimes you got to be careful on that. That just screen it online, and you're like, hey, when are you gonna? Which that hasn't really happened to me, but when are you gonna put it? When's it gonna be online? And ever people are like, oh, they're not playing, and I'm like, well, why'd you go? Why did I give you money?
Yeah, I know. But those are the ones that are not transparent. Like, there's one in the New Jersey. That's great. I mean, there's some great indie horror film festivals, but there are some.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
You just, I don't know enough about them to say anything. You know what I mean? One way or another. So I just don't say enough about them.
Yeah, I would say one hallmark that I found that's useful if you just see that they've been open for a lot of, or one good way I think is just seeing like. If they are through like maybe like a state film program or something like that, or if they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, but there's a lot, because I researched. I was about to make a video and release about this, but I'm not gonna do that.
I will watch that. If you do, I'll watch it.
Listen, and everybody keeps saying this. I'm thinking about like, oh my goodness, I might have to release this, but I feel like it's going to piss off a lot of indie filmmakers who have awards from these film festivals, and they're gonna be like, oh my goodness, you're downplaying my fucking award I won from this fake indie horror film. But like, my whole thing is, there's a lot of them where it's their first year, and I'm saying there's nothing wrong with first year. But there's no transparency on like who's running this, who are the judges, who is this. There's nothing there. It's just here's a film festival.
Is great for that.
Yeah, I mean, here's a film festival. Yep, this is our first year, and you don't know nothing about us. You know, and it's just not transparent. And those are the ones that, listen, I don't know if they're fucking scams or not. I'm just not saying nothing about them. You know, I'm not gonna say nothing.
I understand. I've actually been to a couple of first years that have put on some great. I don't want to downplay those that have put on some really great festivals too.
Yeah, but it's just someone asked me about them. I'm like, I don't know about them. It's not transparent enough for me to say, oh, this seems legit. So I just don't say nothing about them. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, give it a try. Give it a try. See what happens. But I don't want somebody being pissed off at me and saying, well, you said that this was okay or something, and like it's a fucking scam. I'm like, no. I'm not doing that. If I can't, 1% say, okay, this is legit, or something, I'm not gonna say nothing about them at all.
That's a good policy. I love that.
Yes,
that's good.
Yep. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks, Travis.
No problem.